Hi Aries, I hope you guys are doing great today. We're going to do a love only read for Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Also guys, if you happen to know your natal chart, check which sign is on your 5th house. That has to do with passion, love, intimacy, how we do connection and relationships. I'm going to be pulling a few Lenormand cards for crowning. Guys, remember, if the messages don't fit, don't try to make them. This just might not be your reading. So I'm going to be doing 3 different readings. Two different readings rather. I'm sorry. The first one is going to be for those of you in a committed relationship and those of you in a complicated situation where you guys are just very much in each other's energy field. So we're going to pull a Celtic cross spread and some oracles, and then I'm going to go into a singles only where you guys are like, single as a kringle wanting a mingle, really wanting, you have nobody in your energy field, and I'm going to timestamp below for that reading, right? So that'll be a little more relevant for those of you who are not in a space, but you might get some information from both of these. Okay, so let's check out your Lenormand. Beautiful. We have the Clover. Guys, this is about something really benefic coming in. This is about luck, something you don't see coming. It's really about you putting in the hard work in one area of your life and really benefiting in a way that you weren't expecting. This is going to end up creating some sort of movement forward. So this could be somebody asking you to go on a trip. This could be a literal boat trip, airplane, train, it doesn't matter. It can even be a short trip in a car. But it's because of this good news that came in. This has to do with something. This is going to somehow impact your relationship in a very positive way. Okay, so there is connection to relationship here. But this is the thing. We have 44 here, which is about magnifying glass. And this is telling me that there's something that you're not seeing. There's something you're missing about something very important in your relationship that you're not seeing clearly. So sometimes we will focus on the very big things and the very large ideas. It's very simple for us to miss the microscopic things that are actually very meaningful. Okay, that can push our relationship into that next cycle in a really, really beautiful way, in a really healthy way. So there is something good coming in, and there is going to be this sense of movement forward. Now, for some of you, like I said, it can be a literal trip in the 3D. So I'll give you a quick example. Let's say you guys are working really hard in your career, and this unbelievable news comes in that creates a situation where you need to go on a business trip, but what culminates from that opportunity ends up positively impacting your relationship, where you now have the money to do things that you really wanted to do. If you guys have been working hard and struggling with money, or just on a streak of bad luck, this really does present a very benefic path in front of you. Now, for others, it doesn't have to be like that at all in the 3D. It could simply be this information comes in. You guys, if you're in a strange place, if you're in a weird place, complicated place, you guys have a really beautiful conversation. Some epiphanies happen at the right time. Realizations happen about each other in the relationship, and there becomes this real push to move the relationship forward, and this recognition that you guys were focusing on the wrong things the whole time, right? So really positive. These are 3 very, very positive cards, and I feel like somebody else got Clover and boat. Somebody else got magnifying glass. Well, whatever. I actually think it was 3 different signs. It doesn't matter. All right, so we're going to do a Celtic cross spread. Get a little bit of everything. See what's going on for Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and 5th house. Okay. Guys, I don't read these in reversals because this is the vice versa deck, so they're already reversed. All of these cards have a front and back already, okay? So if it comes out upside down, I do turn it right side up. Okay. Okay. All right, so let's get right into this. Now we have, beautiful, right? We have the Knight of Swords. So the Knight of Swords, this is the situation right now. So the Knight of Swords is a Taurus and Gemini energy, and Taurus is ruled by Venus. And Gemini is, you know, represented by the Lover's energy, but it's a Mercurial card, right? So this is about communication coming in. There's a lot of good communication. So this is even if you guys have been married for years and years, okay? You guys are communicating in a different way. You're having these new realizations within your connection. I get there's this resolve to start something fresh, something new, with a new truth, a new way of thinking about something. Realizing that the way you were doing something before maybe wasn't working the best for this situation. And it could really, and it's not that anybody could have even been wrong, necessarily that anyone was wrong. But it might have just been, again, yeah, I mean, going back to the magnifying glass here, it could have just been that you guys weren't seeing things clearly. Okay, seeing things, and this is going to be rolling out. I mean, I'm pulling for the month of February, and we're going to have Mercury retrograde, so things aren't going to be 100% clear all the way around, but this is telling me that you guys are going to be realizing this. And then we have the Two of Wands, right? So the Two of Wands is a Mars and Aries energy, and this is a very forward movement, right? If we got it on the other side, it's not quite as forward moving, but here it's like you ready to just move it forward and start this next cycle. And this is a fire in your belly, Aries. This is a resolve to do things different, to do things better. I get a real sense of excitement here. And when the passion that I'm feeling here, though, comes, I have to tell you what I'm getting for you guys. Even though this is a love-only read, and I'm not interpreting this at all for a career or family connections or anything like that, I am getting this sense of a balancing out for a lot of Aries, where because your career is going to be going in a better direction, it's going to alleviate a lot of the stress that was present in the relationship already because of issues within the career, if that makes sense. So it's like the better your career is, the better you're feeling about yourself, the more resources you're providing or being able to contribute, you know, bring to the table. But it's just about yourself, your sense of self, and just feeling really good in your skin to be able to be the best version of yourself in this connection. Because I feel like a lot of you guys were struggling with that up until this point, if that's resonating, because that is what I'm getting. Yeah. So we have here, this is the Three of Swords energy. So this is this side and this is that side, right? Now in this side, in the past, this is telling me that you guys really weren't quite sure where you were going. If you notice, the ground is very sort of dry and desolate. There's not a lot of cultivation. There's not a lot of opportunity there. You're looking out on the rest of your life saying, like, is this it? Is this where I'm going? Is this where this relationship is bringing me? But I do feel, I have to go back to what I'm getting, Aries. I feel like a lot of you were feeling this within yourselves, and it was adversely impacting the relationship because of how you were feeling, having to do with either where you were at in your career or your sense of self-worth and self-value within this relationship, you know? So you just weren't feeling good about things. This was your desire. The fire was there for you. The passion was there to move forward. But you just didn't see anything within this connection that was actually going to bring you onto the path that you really ultimately wanted for yourself. Now, this could have been because maybe you're with somebody who expected more from you than you were able to provide, or somebody wanted from you in a way that you weren't able to provide, and really you identifying it as just not being a true version of yourself, but then you ending up feeling like this sense of lack in the connection, you know, right? And then we have the Moon card, right? So this is the one side of the Moon card, and this is the opposite side of the Moon card, and I like this side better because this indicates honesty. Okay, I mean, this is all about honesty. So this is a Pisces energy, and it's about really digging deep, because Pisces is all about digging deep, right? Pisces is that 12th house energy, about going real deep into the subconscious and identifying, you know, being really honest with yourself, looking at where you might have been sabotaging yourself in this relationship up to this point, maybe sabotaging yourself in general, or many of you might be realizing, just getting really honest with yourself about your partner, and realizing, you know what, this person is absolutely not who I thought they were, but you know what, they might even be a little better, or it just might be different. But it's recognizing this truth, allowing it to surface, and so just so that you can look at it, having to do with this person, the relationship, the connection. but it not being a bad thing, it just being an honest thing, and just allowing yourself to just be honest about, what you've allowed in the relationship, what they allowed in the relationship from you, just really what's gone on. Right? And then we have the Page of Swords coming in, and this is in the reverse. So right now I'm feeling in the foundation, we have this idea of communication being a little off. So I feel like there might not be a meeting of the minds right now in the foundation energy, and that I kind of expect, because this is a Mercury retrograde card. I mean, really, it's kind of like, all right, we're going to start on this new cycle, but communication is weird. Either you feel like somebody's not being fully honest with you, or somebody's not living in a form of truth that's best for the relationship. They're not showing up. They're not keeping their word. They're not maybe trying as hard as they said they would, or maybe you're not. But communication is off here. I feel like it's one of those situations, like I mentioned in one of my last videos, where you're in this space, we're having this conversation, and you're in the conversation, you know that it's an important one. And you swear that you're being told one thing, and you end up in an argument, and your partner's like, that's not at all what I said, or vice versa. And it's really just about good old-fashioned lack of communication. And that happens in this energy that we're in right now, just between Mercury being in Pisces and the Mercury being in shadow, then retrograde, and then post-shadow. Communication is going to be challenging here. Somebody's recommending this energy. It's good to say, okay, just so that I understand you correctly, and then repeat what they say to you, just to make sure that you're not projecting any of your own stuff onto the conversation, or you're allowing them to do that to you, right? So representing you right now, we have the Eight of Swords. So this is definitely a self-imprisonment energy. This is where there's a lot. This is very mental, and this is representing you. So it's very mental. You ruminating about an idea, some sort of truth, a conversation you had, something that was said to you, something that's poking at you that you really need to think about and look at, but it's putting you in a space of self-imprisonment where you're going over and over again certain conversations with certain ideas. And we have here the external influence to you in this situation is the Page of Pentacles. So I really like this energy, honestly, because this is an offer of a new cycle within this connection having to do with Pentacles. And Pentacle is emotional, mental, and physical connection. And I really like this actually for you, but I feel like for some reason the idea of this next cycle within this relationship is causing you some sort of stress. So this would be definitely relevant for those of you who are in a complicated situation, because what I'm getting here is like this message is coming in, and it could definitely be that Clover message, where this message is coming in for those of you in a complicated situation from somebody who you're actually not with right now. You're maybe in the downward part of a cycle, and maybe you're not in healthy communication. Let's just leave it there, because I feel like even when we're in relationships, we could still be residing with somebody, but just have this mental space and this mental break because things are maybe not the best during a certain time period. They feel like somebody wants to have this new cycle with you, and you're feeling a little self-imprisoned by the whole idea of moving forward in the way that they're suggesting. And then we have the King of Wands in your fear position here. So this is a Cancer and Leo. So this can be you being a little worried about somebody else's ego, you being worried that as you move forward, it's actually not going to feel like that space of home that you're looking for. You're worried about somebody's passion not showing up the way that they're professing to in the moment. You're afraid of it like dwindling out, which it always does, right? I mean, that's part of real relationships, real relationships. But this is a fear, right? This is a fear of you not feeling impassioned enough about moving forward in something within the relationship. Some sort of idea, some sort of plan that you guys had set forth, and it's this new idea that your partner's coming to you with, and they're really excited and they're really well intended, but you're afraid of either that you're not going to be able to show up with the same level of excitement as they are, or you're afraid that you're feeling more excited about something than they are, right? Having to do with something like that. And then we have the Six of Cups. And on this side, this is the reversal, right? This would be the front and this would be the back, right? So the Six of Cups in reverse is indicating like, I'm going to say a negative nostalgia. Okay, this is reflecting back on your past, glorifying something in the rearview mirror with rose-colored glasses on, and not remembering that things were not as good as you're envisioning them to be right now in memory. You're forgetting why something ended in the first place. So I think for a lot of you Aries, you're remembering either a time in the earlier part of your relationship. So if you married many years, you're reflecting back on your early days and when things were like light and airy and fun and there was a sense of innocence, because the Six of Cups energy is this childlike innocence. It's getting back to basics. It's a pure form of love and just joy, right? And you remembering back to that, but remembering why that cycle had to end, why you guys had to grow out of that. If this is you guys remembering a past love or a past relationship and you're feeling nostalgic for a past relationship, even though you're in this one right now, you have to really get in touch with why it really ended. And don't glorify the good. Remember that you left it in the past for a reason and it just does not belong on your path right now. Moving forward, it's not a good thing for you. Okay? So, but I feel like you're going to be resorting back to something in your memory because you're afraid that something isn't going to work out now the way you see it. I get a lot of fear here. I get a lot of fear here. I just do. Yeah. And then we have the Knight of Wands moving forward. I mean, this is really great. I mean, who doesn't like the Knight of Wands? Scorpio and Sagittarius is beautiful. You know, Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. It's about transformation. It's about things being different. This is your near future. And Scorpio is also the house of sex and passion. And then we have Sagittarius ruled by Jupiter, another fire sign pushing forward in a really excited way. This is movement. This is motivation forward. So something is happening that's really beautiful, that's creating this awesome outcome. But I want to pull a couple of cards on that Six of Cups reverse energy. Okay. Because you see, let me just show you in the picture. You even see in these cups how there are flowers. You see the flowers? But how everything looks very dry. You see how distant they are, sort of in the back scene, right? But it's like this is a reflection to what something pretty was in the back, but it's set amidst a very bleak environment, right? So it's trying to extract those nuggets of something good out of really what was not such a great situation. So let's see what happens here. I want to just see what happens between this outcome and then the near future. How did we go from the Six of Cups reverse energy to the Knight of Wands? Okay, so let me turn these right side up because we don't do these in reverse because they're already reversed. Okay, all right, so I feel like what's happening here is, yeah, listen, somebody is offering you their cup. You might have been in this space of fear, wondering if things were going to move forward in the way that you really wanted them to go, in the way that you really thought would best serve you and the relationship. But you having a meeting of the minds here with your partner, this is beautiful. You realizing that at the end of the day, you guys really want the same thing. And that nobody's really trying to one-up each other. That's not what this is about. That you guys want to be in the shared space of mutual respect and you both want to just love each other and make it work. And then we end up with the Four of Wands. Beautiful. This is the card of engagement, marriage, strong foundation. Even if you're not in that space yet, it's that kind of strong foundation. Really beautiful. Passion, will, absolutely beautiful. Really beautiful. Now you are going to be in a space of self-protection though. Aries, you are going to be, I feel like you guys are going to be sort of holding back in some way, but not in a problematic way. Because the Four of Pentacles again is when we're talking about relationships. It's mental, physical, and emotional connection. And it's you giving just enough. I feel like it's like you're dipping your toes in the water, but you're still holding back a little bit, right? People call this like the miser card, right? Where the person is really holding on to their money. Well, here it's more like you're really holding on to the way you connect, the way you communicate, the way you do connection. You're doing it, but you're not doing it full throttle. You're not doing it full throttle because you feel like there's some sort of delay in this connection here. You feel like there's a delay in something coming to fruition. So you have to figure out if that's coming from you or if it's coming from your partner, because I have to tell you that I'm getting a very positive vibe from the person that you're dealing with here. Your partner is in it. Your partner is here. Now, the energies could always be vice versa with these. I do have to say that. Okay, so outside of what is definitively you, which is this Eight of Swords, any of the other energies I think could easily be flip-flop, vice versa. Okay, so maybe you're the one who's more willing and you're getting this feeling like somebody else is holding back, but at the end of it, I feel like this is going in a good direction, even though there is a little bit of holding back, because the holding back, I feel like, is just more about fear and feeling the need to be a little self-protective within the situation. And forgive yourself if you're doing that, because isn't that the human condition? We're not robots. If you went through a tough cycle in a relationship, you can't just turn off what happened. It takes time, to get past all of that. All right, so let's pull some love oracles, and then we'll pull some Island Time Wellness. Let's see what comes up. A message for you. New beginning. Okay. That one's a little longer, so I'll read it, when I pull the Island Time Wellness. Let's pull one of each of a clarifying energy for each of these heart oracles. All right, so first we have a message for you. I'm thinking of you at this very moment. Your love fills me with light. I love you. But then we have under it, not enough. Frustrated in relationship, lack of confidence, self-sabotage, fear, ego issues, jealousy. Okay, so this is one of you, your partner, both of you feeling this sense of not being enough in a certain area. Then we have a new beginning, a new adventure awaits. Embrace it and live your dreams passionately. And then we have Cupid's arrow. Have faith and love. Surprise invitation. So I feel like this has to do with the clover and this travel energy. Beware of what you're projecting, for the qualities you admire in one another are qualities you both possess. Equally so, the qualities you don't like are also your own reflection. Palm tree. Stability, security, permanence, growth, endurance, flexibility. Yeah. So listen, I think you guys are just going to go through some things here with a beautiful outcome. There's some sort of news that's going to be coming in that's going to really propel the relationship on a different trajectory. Even if you guys have been together for years and years, it's going to shift your path. And it's something that you guys didn't see coming. It's like something that maybe you either were really into thinking about at one time and you put it on a back shelf, or it's just something that you guys have been missing. Some sort of possibility that within this connection. But I really like it. Okay, so that's what I have for Aries committed or complicated. Now let's get into Aries singles. So we keep those same crowning energies. So we have two is the card of Clover, which is all about luck and fortune and something serendipitous coming in, like really good, something you were not expecting. And then we have the ship, which is all about travel, moving forward. A lot of you may need this, whatever information is coming in, a lot of you may need to travel because of that good information. A lot of you may be wanting to travel, like if you haven't, you may be meeting somebody and going away with them, or this could just simply be moving forward in your life, meeting somebody and moving forward in your life, and being really honest with yourself about some sort of detail within yourself that you haven't noticed before, having to do with relationship and connection. So I'm using the Vice Versa Tarot, and I don't read these in reverse because they are already reversed by design. I just feel like that's too many reversals if I do anything more than that. Okay. Ooh, you got the sun as your foundation. Ah, yep. Okay, interesting outcome here. Good. We have a new start as the outcome. Definitely a new start of truth. So let's get right into right now the foundation. We have the Ten of Cups. So this is the one side and this is the reverse side, all right? Just so for those of you who aren't familiar with this deck. So this is equivalent to the Ten of Cups reverse. So this is telling me, those of you who are single Aries, that you guys are very, very ready to go and meet that person. You're very, very ready. But there's something getting in the way, and you have to figure out what it is that's getting in the way. Is it leftover hurt or fear from a past relationship? Is it you finally feel like you're in a really good space and you just don't want to go through like the bullshit of a relationship again? Because I'm feeling like some of you might be feeling like, oh, I don't know, is it all worth it? I really want somebody, but you know, in my past things haven't ended up so hot, and then I end up hurt having to deal with that, and I'm in a good space right now. So you might be blocking yourself, even though in your mind you're saying, and in your heart you're like, I really would love to have somebody. So that could certainly be what's getting in the way. Yeah, for others of you, it certainly could be old, like an unrequited love kind of, you know, still blocking you. This deep desire to still reconnect with somebody from your past, because that does happen in the Ten of Cups energy. But in the reverse, it means like that's just not coming in right now, in the current situation. But there is something that's holding you back. For others of you, it could be that you're just working so much, you really don't even have the time to go out and meet anybody, or life is just that busy. You know, maybe you're a single parent and you're just really worried, you know, you got your kids and you got work, and who has time for that, right? And then we have the High Priestess energy, and this is in reverse. So this is you just not being totally in touch with your intuition right now. That's what this is telling me, you know. But you know, the energy here calls for you to get really honest with yourself. Because remember, this is a moon energy, and when we have the moon reverse, it's about really looking deep inside ourselves and getting honest with our motivations on why we do things that we do, and why we allowed things in the past to go on the way they did, you know what I mean? And just like letting all that stuff rise to the top and just getting really honest with it, you know? And then in the crowning energy, we have the Four of Cups, and this is this is the checklist card, you know? This is about feeling very restless and a sense of disillusionment regarding relationships at this point. And this is you got your pen and your paper out, Aries, and you're like, I am not going to be with anybody who does this, this, and this. I am only going to be with people who can do this, this, and this, right? And really holding fast to that checklist. But, you know, whenever this comes out, we always want to be mindful of, why are those items on our checklists? Though you could say, well, if I don't want to be with somebody who doesn't know how to communicate, it's obvious, because I think communication is normal and healthy, right? But look even deeper under that. Like, why is communication so important to you? Because when somebody communicates with us, it makes us feel heard, like we matter, like somebody's in the room with us. There's a weird sense of validation in when people communicate healthily, like they value us enough and they're showing us enough respect that they're taking the time out to ask us how we're doing and listen and wait for the answer, and to reach out to us throughout the day to just touch base and to talk about the important things. I'm just giving that as an example. But you really want to get in touch with what it is and really value what it is, you know, and have the explanation ready for yourself. Because some of the things that we end up putting on this checklist are actually just rooted in fear. So it's good to kind of decipher what's rooted in fear and what is just like a sensible kind of thing to want in a relationship. And then we have the sun as the foundation. I mean, this is just beautiful. So there's definitely a really good energy here for you guys to be on a very nice trajectory to meet somebody. So because the sun is in the foundation, and this card of restlessness and self-awareness is crowning, I feel like through the sense of self-awareness, you're going to be lifting these blocks that are in you, you know, because you definitely have blocks. All right, we have in your past, we have the 8 of Cups. This is about feeling very sad about a situation and a person not being at all who they thought they were, and you recognizing that this is just not good for you and you need to walk away from it. This was something that needed to end, whether you ended it or somebody else ended it. There's pain here though, because it's got to do with the heart space. It's not like it's done happily, you know, and you notice how young the child is here, right? This is really kind of digging deep into that inner child and really getting in touch with what it did to that part of you. And this is really not having an easy time letting go. You know, this side of the card tells me that you're just having a hard time of fully letting go of something from your past, you know, this past relationship. So, you know, I did mention that could very well be the block, right? But here we have the 5 of Swords, okay, as you right now. And this is in reverse. So this is a Venus and Aquarius energy. And this is telling me that, think about, I mean, Venus is all about planet of love and self-worth. It has to do with money too, but for this reading, it has to do with love and it has to do with self-love and self-worth. And then Aquarius, you know, ruled by Uranus, is all about doing things differently. So you're in a space of conflict within yourself. Like, how am I going to do things differently to make sure that I don't end up in the same space? You know, this is the kind of like mentality where, like, you know, if you know, when you like, maybe you go out with a couple of different people and they just end up not being the best of the bunch, and you're left like, why do I pick the people I pick? Do I just attract these people? Do I have a sign on me? You know, or where you're losing your faith in your ability to pick people who are healthy for you, or you can be not trusting your ability to stay grounded and healthy within connection. You know, it depends on what else is in your chart. You know, because just because you're Aries is only your ego consciousness. So it definitely depends on like what's in your 5th house, where's your Venus, where's your moon sign, you know, because I'm getting an energy here where I feel like an energy that's coming through for me very strong here is somebody who has Scorpio on the 5th. You know, I am just feeling that, you know, because it's like this, you could feel so independent and really strong, and your emperor-like energy, you know, when you're alone. But then something happens when you're in a relationship and you kind of lose yourself in relationship, right? And you really having conflict about that because you know that that's not good for you. You know that that's not good. But guess what? We have a Knight of Swords coming in, and this Knight of Swords is coming in, and they really want to offer you something. And this is, I don't mean to laugh at this, but this is a little funny because this is a Taurus and Gemini energy. What a beautiful energy, because Taurus is ruled by Venus, Gemini is ruled by Mercury, which is all about communicating something in the Venusian space. Now this is external to you. This is something that's coming into you, okay? And you being afraid, I could feel the fear. Yes, you're just afraid of it not being, if it not being good, if it not being on the up and up, because then we have the Death energy here. This is in your fear position, and it's in the reverse, but in the reverse it doesn't matter. That just means that you're very afraid of feeling very, very deeply about this. And you know, it's funny, I mentioned Scorpio, and Scorpio is the death cards. Yeah, so check your chart. Those of you who are resonating with this on any level, you might have a lot of Scorpio in there. But yeah, so this is just about you having a fear that, I'm getting 2 fears. A fear that you're going to start something and it's going to end up not lasting. And also a lot of you are afraid of letting go of your singledom right now and where you are right now. But we do have the Ace of Swords, you know, as the outcome energy, which is really beautiful. I mean, this is about a brand new beginning. This is a brand new offering. This is a brand new way of living, right? Because swords are truth and communication, and it's basically how we frame our truth. So this is a brand new relationship coming in, brand new. Okay, and then we have the Lovers, and we have the Lovers in reverse. The Lovers in reverse does mean to me that Now, this is very interesting to me because you had the Gemini energy coming in. Doesn't mean that it's definitely like a Gemini sun. It could be a Gemini rising especially. But that could be any sign really. But anyway, the Lovers on the reversal tells me that there's going to be some sort of like shadow-like behavior coming to the surface here. So Aries, you might be in a place where you're going to end up testing this relationship, and you want to be sure that you don't end up testing in a way that's going to end up sabotaging it. Because it is this shadow energy coming out. It's somebody really wanting to connect with you, but you ending up in this space where it's like you're pushing somebody away. Let's get some more information on that. Yeah, I mean, this is about you wanting to move forward. All right, listen, this is somebody really wanting to move forward with you. Someone who's very strong in the truth. They have very strong convictions and they have a lot of passion, but I feel like you are scared. You are scared. Don't be scared, Aries. Somebody's coming in that's really good for you. That's really good for you. You have to get front and center with this past energy that was here and understand how your past might be impacting how you are moving forward. Some of you may say that you're ready, but you're really not ready. Like in a way where you're still holding on to somebody in the past, even though you know you shouldn't. And like, I'm getting like, you might not even be telling your friends this. You know, it's because you know you have to move on and you almost feel silly to be holding on, which is silly that you feel like that, right? But that could definitely be sabotaging you. Let's pull for this new person coming in. Romance, friendship, beautiful. Deep in your heart, you already know the answer. Do what feels right. Romance, Cupid's arrow strikes. Friendship, nurture the bonds of friendship within your relationship and your love life will dramatically improve. Deep in your heart, you already know the answer. Do what feels right. Yep. I like you. Date. The runner. I think this is you, Aries. I think you're the runner. Fear of intimacy, listening to ego. It says deep in your heart, you already know the answer. Do what feels right. And then we have runner in a codependent relationship. That could have been you historically and you not wanting to be that anymore, but you still having that fear of intimacy. Because here we have date, meeting somebody new, dating, getting back out there, plan, set a date. I like you. Someone likes you. Romance is blooming, fun, flirting, want to date. Somebody wants you, Aries. Don't be afraid of it. It's real and happening and can be trusted. Yeah. You can't live in the past. If somebody is not going to come back, you have to get back. You have to get on with your life. I know it's hard, man. Believe me. Aries, thank you so much for joining me. That is what I have for Aries, committed, complicated, and singles. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. See you next time. Bye-bye.